Okay. What happened, Jim? Somebody walked away with it? Yeah, the sticks. Put down the vets? We just take it to the vet. You mean it'll be broken when you just.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the December meeting of the zoning hearing board. Would everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to do something a little unusual here. We're going to try to wait for Mr. Mosley to make it here since he's heard the last couple months. But I guess we can introduce John Ronamonte, our solicitor, and he can introduce the board and hopefully, Howard will be here.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the December meeting, zoning hearing board of Chichester. We have Pam Andrian, John Marconi, and Mr. James Holfelder. We're waiting on Howard Mosley. Now, if you might recall, Mr. Marconi was not here for the first meeting, so he can't participate in the discussion. Even though there's a quorum, would it be all right if we began testimony? If he comes in late, would you waive your objection to that?
Yes, certainly. This is Matt Keel on behalf of the applicant. We have no objection to.
So when he comes in,
When
then
he
he,
comes in, we can
You'll
certainly
allow him
answer
to
any
vote, is that
questions he
right?
might have as well.
All right, great. Then we get started, okay? All right, council, if you'd be kind enough, I'm going to read into the record our new application. This is excuse me one sec here. I just wanted to put on the record that, again, this is a rehearing of zoning hearing board hearing testimony with regard to the petition number 7-1-22 of McDonald's USA LLC, care of Eileen Seeberger, for variances from zoning ordinance number 678, adopted December 13th, 2012, as amended by recent filings. The location of this property is at 659 Conchester Highway, Upper Chichester, and is zoned 1-C industrial commercial. And with that, council, would you introduce yourself and take over the meeting?
Yeah, good. This is let me just clarify, this is a continuation of the first hearing.
That's correct. We were back before the board in August. I can't believe it's been that long, but in that timeframe, obviously we had a lot of dialogue with the board and the variances we were requesting. We've taken that time. We've worked through some revisions to the site plan. We could hand out new copies. They're also shown on the screen as well. I'll have those handed up right now. But essentially, we've worked through with the landlord, with the township civil engineer, and have worked the layout and the access points and the orientation of the building. In essence, what we were able to do is we were able to pick up an additional 4 parking spaces in the leased area of the McDonald's, which will increase the parking count to 47 overall spaces for the McDonald's. Variance is still required for that. In addition, the overall shopping center parking addition, the same 4 spaces are added to that, so lesser variance required there. As a result of the reorientation of the building and the access points.
Excuse me, sir.
Sure.
Mr. Mosley's here, so we can go.
We'll apologize.
So, that's okay. Right, so we'll get it all in.
You didn't miss anything. I'm just getting to the good stuff.
There
So,
you go. Great. Let the record reflect that Mr. Mosley's joined the meeting.
and then as a result of the reorientation of the building, we were able to remove one of the proposed wall signs and reduce the number of wall signs associated with the application from 6 to 5. And as a result of that, it eliminated 2 of the signage variances that are associated with the application. A couple other things we've done in the interim. You'll hear from Mr. Geithner, our civil engineer, who testified at the last hearing. You'll recall he spoke to you about the ITE, which is an engineering manual that talks about parking and trip generation. He was able to confirm those numbers that he provided at the hearing. And then additionally, we had the owner operator of the existing restaurant across the street do a parking count. They sat out over a weekend and watched how many cars actually parked in that location. And Mr. Geithner will share that data with you. But just as a high level summary, the most parking spaces utilized was Sunday afternoon. There was 26 cars parked in the restaurant. And we're proposing 47 here. And we think the parking is less of a need with the additional drive-through units. So with that, we have the plans up on the screen. I'll have Mr. Geithner come up and he can kind of run you through the changes that we made to both the site plan and signage. And I know he was previously sworn. I don't know if you want to have him sworn again.
Well, still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, members of the board. Michael Geithner with Bowler Engineering on behalf of McDonald's. What you have before you this evening is a revised site layout of the aforementioned McDonald's relocation within the township. If you recall, the plan that was before you at the prior zoning hearing board indicated or provided for an orientation where the front of the building was facing the access drive to the shopping center. So the access drive being in this location, the front of the building was actually over here. drive-through components were over here. And we had an access point up in this location here. As a result of extensive discussions with your township staff and specifically your engineer, and looking at some potential concerns with access that was occurring in this portion of the shopping center, and even though that the current Taco Bell was exiting within this area as well, we were able to utilize some of that discussion and dialogue, and also feedback we received from this board in regards to trying to achieve a higher parking count for specifically for the McDonald's lot itself, the McDonald's portion of this overall shopping center. So what we ended up doing is really rotating the building 180 degrees, now with the front of the building facing to the west wall. The drive-through configuration now is the menu boards are now at the near the access drive of the shopping center. To enter the McDonald's building coming through the shopping center, you now can access off of the ring road, come down, turn, and then you exit or you enter the drive-through component, and then you can also leave through that area. Whereas before, everybody was kind of coming down here, in, around, up and around, and getting into this intersection, creating another leg of that intersection. As a result of those changes, we were able to maximize kind of the parking on the side of the McDonald's, which this is really your main dining room area. So your front doors are generally in this location here. So we're able to take some of that parking that was on the perimeter, utilize that as key parking for the customers, add some parking at the front, and then maximize this area back here in regards to additional parking. Obviously, we maintain the access or the parking on this side of the building, and the trash enclosure, off the back corner of the building in this location here. Sight lines are not obstructed in any way as a result of this. And then in looking at all this and making some, changes to the plan in regards to what I mentioned, but moreover, just looking at maximizing parking, as was indicated, our total parking for the McDonald's lot went from 43 parking spaces down to 47 parking spaces. So a net gain of 4 parking spaces for the overall McDonald's lot. If you recall, I provided testimony in regards to a parking ratio for the overall shopping center, which now has a total of 905 parking spaces for the entire shopping center. When we provided testimony at the last hearing, I indicated that the ITE parking ratio for shopping centers less than 400,000 square feet in overall gross floor area. The average ratio for parking per ITE was between 3.0 and 4.0. At the time that we prepared, and we were at 4 parking spaces less than this plan that I just noted, our parking ratio was closer to 3.1. We're now at 3.26. So we're well within the range now of the parking ratio that we provided testimony to. And furthermore, the backup documentation was forwarded, obviously, to the board that backed up the testimony provided. Lastly, regarding the parking, we had the owner operator of the restaurant go and really review the parking count at the existing McDonald's restaurant directly across the street at 518 Conchester Highway, and really look at what their actual parking demand is experiencing during their peak times. And their peak times are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And what was determined during the morning, midday, and evening peak is that on a Friday, the parking lot maxed out at 20 cars. On a Saturday, during a midday afternoon peak, the parking count maxed out at 23 cars. And on a Sunday, during again a midday peak, the max was 26 cars. So in regards to the actual demand and the actual customer parking at the McDonald's lot during the busiest times, the McDonald's experiences, which is normally a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the max that was experienced was around 26 cars. Within that, if you again recall the plan that's before you tonight, we have a total of 47 parking spaces. So we believe in regards to the parking that we've revised the plan to gain additional parking that was recommended by the board. We're able to reconfigure the overall lot an overall configuration to maximize the parking on the lot. We're able to reconfirm the ITE information that was previously testified to. And furthermore, we're able to acquire some actual information from the McDonald's across Route 322 in order to give the board a feeling of a actual demand for the actual client versus ITE or the township code. That is correct. And testimony that was previously provided with the dual drive-through lanes here and a side-by-side drive-through configuration. This restaurant's anticipated to have upwards of 85% drive-through to sit-down sales, whereas the restaurant across the street with a single drive-through lane, they're experiencing closer to 70 to 75% of drive-through sales, just sheerly due to the really the efficiency of the drive-through that they currently have being single lane. Sure. So with the reconfiguration of the McDonald's building and building walls, if you will, we were able to reconfigure some of the signage on the building itself. The freestanding signs specific to the main ID sign out on Route 322, but also the menu board signs and pre-menu board signs, those have not changed. Those are paramount to our operation and furthermore the operation of the drive-through. But in regards to the building signs themselves, we were able to go back and speak to McDonald's, review the sign package, which contained 6 overall wall signs. We were able to reduce the sign package from 6 signs down to 5 signs. And the one sign that was removed was the large McDonald's script sign, which is over 32 square feet in the area. So currently the plan that's before you contains 5 wall signs. We have a McDonald's script sign along the wall here. Did I just do that? Again, repeating along the southern building wall that faces the street here, Route 322, Conchester Highway, that contains a McDonald's script sign, the word McDonald's. That's 32.8 square feet in area. Along the shopping center access here, the back of the wall here, we have a M logo, which is this sign here at 14 square feet. The front of the building has the McDonald's script sign and the M logo. It's really their main entrance, their main branding wall. And then along the north wall that faces the parking lot, Acme supermarket, that wall we have just, again, the M logo, which is 14 square feet. So we have 5 wall signs. As indicated, 2 of the variances were removed in regards to facade signs on a building not facing a public street being over what's permitted by area. So the variances that we have in regards to the building signs are 5 wall signs in lieu of 2 permitted because we are considered a corner lot. And then also to provide signage facing, not facing a street. So the front building wall here has 2 signs on it, not facing the street. And then obviously the north wall that faces the interior of the shopping center has a sign on it that's not facing the public street. So we're able to reduce the variance by 2, by 1 sign, but also remove 2 specific variances from what was previously requested. The total wall sign area was reduced from 140.4 square feet down to 107.6 square feet. And I believe that represents all the changes and the requested information from the board. No, that testimony remains accurate. and critical to the operation of the McDonald's.
Pictures show. So I don't see anything saying. You know, I see the one freestanding sign, that's a pretty big sign that's gonna be out on the highway. But I don't see anything, any bullets that show what's going to look like.
In regards to a building elevation, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So what I do have is I have the prior building elevation, so I can describe for you, and I'll tell you if there's any signs that are being removed that would give you a better representation.
Sign that we eliminated is the sign that we on Conchester Highway where we have the benefit of the freestanding sign, right?
Okay, thank you.
Just to repeat, if you go through your illustration, which are the signs that are disappearing on your new application? With the M on the bottom, when I see that, right?
So the script sign here, that's facing the shops and
Yes.
yeah. That's being removed and replaced with just an M logo, not on that. This will remain, the M logo with the script.
That's the front.
This side of the building, the M logo will go away, stops. Rear elevation. Just have an M logo.
Is there a depiction of the rear elevation charts? Now to be facing east, is that right?
Right. It's finish.
And what is it? What is it that's going on the facade? I'm looking. Thank you. So there is no facade will have two signs? Okay.
This is the main. Of the building. Even though now we're looking at the corner, this is still the main entrance. We have an entrance point here, and there, but we don't. Very important to McDonald's to identify that as the main entrance. to the building. It's identifying the direction for not only people driving within the shopping center, but also the direction for any customers as they are walking into the restaurant.
Thank you.
So we can. Sport.
Yeah, it's too big. Excuse us just a moment.
The sign that is on 322, is that going to be the exact same size as the one that's on the other side of the road? So it'll be the same. Yeah, with the menu board.
Take that back. Signs that are gonna be.
No, I mean freestanding sign out behind.
The main portion of the sign. Let's get the.
Yep, all three parts.
Right, over the sign plan. This portion of the sign is. We are adding some. Digital reader on the sign, 8% of the sign. Is virtually the same size.
How often is that readable?
No,
Action will not be.
it will provide for any special McDonald's has, but it's also McDonald's has indicated in township, any community advertising, any big community events coming up, including schools, and everything. So the intention of that is not be flashing, maybe changing, maybe once or twice, every couple of minutes. But it won't be flashing, it will be changing, it won't be scrolling.
You're not asking for a variance from the aesthetic part of that sign.
That's
That's fine.
This is, I think we can reiterate what was. Sure, I understand the application.
Any questions from the board?
You'd like to move your documents to the evidence, all right? Yes. And how shall we number them for the record? Do we use the numbers in the bottom right-hand corner of the exhibits that you handed up?
We call these C dash 01, C dash 02.
Yeah, this 3 page.
So what we'll do is we'll use a prefix, and that prefix will be 7-122, and then we'll use your numbering. So 7-122, Z01, Z02, Z03. Is that okay? Were there any other exhibits to go in? That's it? Thank you.
We'll take a quick, short 5-minute break and we'll be right back. Well, wait a minute. Before I do that, I apologize. Let me go out to the audience. Anybody is for or against this applicant?
Pay no attention to the man behind the.
I know. Anybody online? For or against, want to enter an appeal here? Seeing none.
Charlie, on behalf of the township, anything to say? No? It's my favorite witness.
Okay, we're back on. We're going to vote on this tonight.
Well, not necessarily. Would you sign a waiver of the right to receive a decision tomorrow if we agree to vote on this tonight? I didn't think. But that the council was kind enough to stipulate the waiver's right to a written decision within 24 hours. See it, right? So, Mr. Chairman, did you have any questions for the panel? So,
Yes, one question. You said that you would allow the township to utilize that sign. Yeah, from the safety. How often? Once a day? Put something in the queue that would be, because I'm sure you're gonna have to serve.
What question to that? Is that something that you guys do in other townships? Is that common practice? Yeah, and how would so we have a community day every August, or I think it's in August, September. So how would they, no, not limited to community day, but so how would we go about, who do we talk to? Like all of a sudden now, hey, we want to get a message up on that board. Is it something that's is there a protocol to that whole?
no more than like one message every day, cycle with your other messages, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read these, the variance that you've requested in order. So the variance number one that was requested, members of the board, is from section 600-139. And I'll give you this later, so you don't have to go as fast as you normally do. To permit 905 parking spaces in overall shopping center includes spaces in McDonald's lease area. In lieu of the 990 spaces required, existing spaces of overall shopping center is 960. And also to permit 47 spaces within the McDonald's lease area in lieu of the required 60 spaces for restaurant use. How does the board vote? All in favor? One at a time. Yeah. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, none. That's unanimous. Number two, from section 600-148 G1 to permit the lowest edge of a freestanding sign menu boards closer to the ground than 7 feet. How does the board vote? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, that is unanimous of all voting members. From section 600-148 G4 to permit freestanding signs U, E, and F, the road sign appendage, menu boards, and pre-browse menu boards to be LED screens in lieu of concealed or indirect illumination. How does the board vote? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, number four, from section 600-150B2B3B to permit a freestanding highway sign area of 148.8 square feet, 121.2 square feet for the road sign, and 27.6 square feet for the message board appendage in lieu of the maximum 70 square feet permitted. How does the board vote? All in favor? Okay, opposed? None. Number 5, from 600-150B, 2B, 3A, and section 600-150B, 3, to permit 5 freestanding signs, 1 road sign, 2 main menu board signs, and 2 pre-browse menu board signs in lieu of the maximum of 2 permitted per section 600-150B, 2B, 3A, and to permit 4 menu board signs in lieu of 1 permitted per section 600-150B3. How does the board vote? All in favor? Okay, opposed? None. Number 6, from section 600-150-B, 5A, to permit 5 wall signs in lieu of the maximum permitted quantity of 2 wall signs for a corner lot. The proposed signs would total 107.60 square feet. How does the board vote? All in favor? Okay, opposed? None shown. And last but not least, number 7, from section 600-150B, 5B3, to permit more than 1 sign on each building frontage facing the right-of-way greater than a permitted 45.6 square feet, and to permit more than 1 sign on a building side that does not face the right-of-way. The request is a facade facing the internal shopping center, front building west, to permit 2 wall signs totaling 46.8 square feet where no sign is permitted, and the facade facing the internal shopping center, drive-through side of the building north, to permit 1 wall sign, 14 square feet where no sign is permitted. How does the board vote? All in favor? Opposed? None. Variance has all been granted.
Thank you very much. for
Does
your
that cover
time.
everything, council?
I believe that covers everything.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Before you leave, real quick question. It's nothing to do with the zoning. Is that other building being raised?
What's that?
Is the McDonald's across the street being raised? You don't have to answer.
Sure, they're gonna demolish everything. We're definitely gonna be grant.
Thank you. It's not gonna be
This is
too
what we
convenient.
No, there's certainly not going to be two.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We're going to adjourn.
Well, anything else before the board? Anything? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.